So what is up, Mountaintop Kids Ministries? My name is Katie Haffel and I am your children's director. So I'm coming at you today with the Easter story. So this is what you guys are going to be learning over the next 4 weeks of this month, leading up to Easter, which is at the end of this month. So what I want to get into first is kind of a game. So as your small group leaders have already told you, there are 3 things that are hidden around the room. So these are our Easter eggs. This is what we're going to be using throughout the entire month to kind of give us hints about our Bible stories that we're going to be learning about. So the first one that you would have found today is a donkey. The second one you would have found are coins. And then the third one you would have found was a bread and a cup. So these all link into the stories that we're going to be learning in the Bible today. So let's get into that. So the first Bible story first Bible verse that we're going to be learning about is Mark 11, 1 through 11. And so this is the story of Palm Sunday, which is really important because we are coming up on Palm Sunday this week. So this is a really great opportunity to kind of learn a little bit more about it before we go into whole group on Sunday morning. So kind of the story behind this is that Jesus was riding through the town on a donkey, and it was just a day of just praising Jesus for all that he has done, which is really important. And they would say, "Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." And so the next story that we're going to talk about is Matthew 26, 14 through 16. And so this is a really important story because this talks about Judas Iscariot. So Judas Iscariot was a 12 disciple of Jesus. He was a follower of him. He followed him all around. And he truly loved Jesus in every way that he possibly could. But the thing was, Judas decided to betray Jesus. So he is the one and the reason why Jesus ended up on the cross. And it's kind of sad because he said to the high priests, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?" And so that they told him that he would have 30 pieces of silver. Now, that's a lot of money back then, but Jesus' life or money? It's looking like Judas let his love for money overrule his love for Jesus. And so that's kind of sad. But the next story that we're going to also talk about is Matthew 26, 17 through 30. And so this is really important because this is where we find the story of the Passover, which is where we get communion, which we all know that Mountaintop Kids does every month. So we'll be doing that pretty soon here, within the next 2 weeks. And so this is kind of about how Jesus, it was the last night before he would be taken in and go through his trial. And he meets with all of his 12 disciples in the upper room. And this is where he does communion with them for the first time. So he takes a piece of bread and he says, "This is my body broken for you. Take and eat." So that's what he does. All of the disciples took a piece of bread and ate it. And then the next thing that he does, he gives them a glass of wine, which, we don't drink wine because we're little. So we have some juice. And that is the blood that represents that's blood that represents Jesus' body being broken. And so that's kind of the basis of that story as well. So as you kind of go through, we can see that the donkey represents the first story, which is Mark 11, 1 through 11. And then we have the coins, which Judas gets, which goes with Matthew 26, 14 through 16. And then we have the bread and the cup, which represents Matthew 26, 17 through 30. So as we go into the rest of the weeks, that's kind of how it's going to go. When you're in your small groups, you'll go and you'll have your fun little Easter egg hunt, and you will have to guess about what Bible verses kind of tie to those 3 things that you'll find in your Easter eggs. So next, what you guys are going to be doing in your small groups is you are going to do a little bit of a reflection about the stories that you guys are going to kind of go a little bit more in depth with. And this is just a really great time to draw how you feel about it. You can also You can draw it, you can write it, you can do whatever you want to kind of help you understand and process what these stories about. So that's it for this week. I will see you next week with another one.